What's going on, guys? Let's get people here in the chat and then we'll get talking Roadblock. End of the line. James Bars asks, who won? Who won what? Like, did you not watch the pay per view at all? Alright, let's get some more people in here. Let's go, guys. Alright. Lamar, I missed it, so this will be useful. James Barrows, I missed it. Mystery People, did Sasha defend? I'm mad Sasha lost. Yes, Sasha Banks did lose in overtime, and we'll get into all that. Best Gamer says, I think New Day should have kept the titles so they can be longer. I agree. I think that it was too predictable that the New Day actually lost this quickly after breaking the record. I thought they should have kept them till maybe, say, Rumble. Like I said in my prediction show, you keep the titles on them till Rumble, and then after the Royal Rumble, well, not after, but leading up to the Royal Rumble, you then have them drop the titles. Well, no. Let me rephrase that. Leading up to the Royal Rumble, you have them defend the titles every week on Raw. And you don't put them against, I guess, Sheamus and Cesaro anymore. And then right before Royal Rumble, you do a big number one contenders match. Give Sheamus and Cesaro the win there. Go to Royal Rumble. Boom. They get the titles then. But you have the New Day win week after week after week in a row consecutively. So people think, wow, these guys, they're legit. And then they drop the titles. But that's just my theory of how I would have booked it, but hey. All right. Christian Capelli Hernandez asked, how do you feel about the 30-minute match, the Ironman match? I will say, it wasn't a bad match. it was better than expected. Yes, it had its flaws here and there, but it might not have been their fault. It may have been the structure of the match and whatnot. But Ryan McGrandy asked, when is Seth Rollins getting the Universal title? Is it going to be after WrestleMania? That we don't know. That is very unknown because Seth's next feud is supposed to be Triple H. He keeps saying, I want Triple H, I want Triple H, I want Triple H. Triple H probably won't come back till January, Royal Rumble time ish, and then we'll see what happens from there. But Sarah Small says, I'm glad Neville turned heel. Yes, I am. I'm glad they did something with Neville and did something that's new and fresh, and I think he's gonna do really well in that role. But all right, let's get started here. The show started off with the kickoff show, and we had Big Cass versus Rusev. After a bunch of, on the mic stuff from Enzo that really went nowhere, all he said was, I can talk all the crap I want, I can say anything I want because I got Big Cass here and he'll fight my battles for me. Is pretty much what he told Rusev while Rusev and Lana were kind of laughing at him in the ring. Most of the match was during a commercial break, like literally, Cass got in the ring, they rang the bell, and then there was a commercial on a pay-per-view, which made no sense. After we came back from the commercial, they were just brawling in the stands. Like, what led them out to there, we don't know. Like I said, a lot of this match took place during a commercial. Horrible. We then get a shot back at ringside, and Lana shoved Enzo. Rusev then blindsides Enzo with an elbow. Cass was tending to Rusev on the outside, and this was all after Lana pretended she was hurt, so Enzo, I guess, was checking on her, and that's when Rusev came and took out Enzo. Cass was like, I gotta check on my buddy, and it screwed him because the ref was counting. Rusev rolled into the ring. Big Cass got counted out. Rusev, victorious. We then get the main show, and we start off with the tag title match. The New Day defending against Cesaro and Sheamus, and it's a good match. I liked it. Cesaro just started off white hot, like they rang the bell. Like as the bell was ringing, he charged at Kofi, and I thought they were gonna end it quick. Like a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's over, it's over." They're ending it quick, but no, they had a good, decent match. The New Day, they tried to do the whole third man thing. They tried to use Xavier to their advantage because there was at one point Cesaro did the swing on Kofi. He then put Kofi straight into the sharpshooter, and Kofi was tapping, but the referee didn't see it because Xavier went up on the turnbuckle, not on the turnbuckle, but on the ring apron, and distracted the referee. Then Kofi got taken down again, and right at like 2.5, Big E ran in, broke it up. Finally, we get the end of the match where Kofi hits a Trouble in Paradise on Cesaro, goes for the pin, but then Sheamus runs in, scoops, I guess, schoolboys Kofi, because Kofi didn't really realize that Sheamus was the legal man. Sheamus, pins Kofi. They become new tag team champions. Daniel Keem says the only good thing from the pay-per-view, new tag champs. Let's see. Sarah Small says, awesome, I'm going to Mania. Man, I wish I'd go into Mania. I wanted to try and make it out there, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Still going to try, though. I got time. Daniel Keem says, you need to go into Raw with a mindset that it's... Sorry, you need to go into a Raw pay-per-view with the mindset that it's just a Raw, with shit outcomes and no progress. Yeah, you could say that. But this was a little better than expected, the Roadblock show. So, now I will have to say, all the finishes were a little predictable, though. So, I like I said in my prediction show, I wanted the New Day to win just because people wouldn't expect it, but I did predict them to lose. Daniel Keem says that fake tag was brilliant. Yes, because Kofi thought Cesaro was a legal man, but he really wasn't. All right. Then after the match, Cesaro for some reason hugged the New Day. And Sheamus was looking at him like, "What the hell are you doing? We just beat these guys for the tag titles." And so he went over, grabbed the championships, got on the top rope, and celebrated as the crowd booed him. Behind his back, Cesaro went into the crowd. They chanted, they cheered. Sheamus would put the belts up, they'd boo. Cesaro would put his arms up, they'd cheer. So finally, Sheamus was just like, screw this, and started to walk off. As he's walking up the ramp, Cesaro grabbed the title from him, and they did the whole cheer boo for about another minute or so. Next up, we had the 10-minute time limit match. Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman. Mick Foley actually showed up, which was a surprise because we had reported that he's taking some time off until January, like the first or second week of January. So this might be his last night for a couple weeks. But, you know, the original idea was Foley's role in this angle was to end at a Raw. But because he's taking the time off, they did it here. The match saw Strowman throw Sami Zayn around for about the first half of the match. At about 7.5 minute mark, Foley came out. No, not 7. My notes are wrong. I think it's 6 something. Anyways, they were stalling for time here. Like, Sami's laying on the outside. Mick's just looking at him with the towel like, I'm going to throw in the towel. And Sami's telling him, no. And Strowman's just watching them. Like, what are you doing, Strowman? Finally, Sami begged him not to do it. Zayn eventually grabbed the towel from Foley and threw it into the stands. Strowman went for a tackle to Zayn outside the ring, but Zayn moved and Strowman went straight into the barricade and nearly got counted out. Sami Zayn did some speed moves and eventually hit an Aluva kick with about 3 or 4 seconds to go. He was going to go for another Haluva kick. Time ran out. He was declared the winner. I didn't know that's how they were going to do it. I didn't think they were actually going to have a winner or a loser. I thought it was just going to be if somebody wins, they win. If the time expires, nobody wins. It's a draw. But no, the whole point of the match that we didn't even know, they didn't tell us beforehand, was if Braun Strowman can win in the first 10 minutes, then he wins. But if he can't beat Sami Zayn in 10 minutes, then he's the loser. We didn't know this beforehand. Like, you need to tell us this stuff. Anyways, then we got a promo for the UK Championship Tournament. They talked about Nigel McGuinness. We saw this like 3 or 4 times throughout the show. Like, filler. Let's see. Daniel Keem again. Says it was a bullshit match. It killed both of their momentum. Yeah. The whole Mick Foley coming out there and wasting time killed the momentum. K. Jardine said, are you tired of the hot potato feel between the women's title? Very much so, and I'm glad Sasha's done. Sasha Banks, I'm going to talk about this when I talk about that match, but Sasha's done with the women's title for the time being. Daniel Keem says, Strowman's next opponent for the U.S. title in Bolt, since it's obvious, a race, not a wrestling match. Oh, no, next opponent in USA is Bolt. Gotcha. Killa Nick says, Charlotte and Sasha, last match was tonight. No more hot potato. Next feud is Charlotte and Bayley. Yes, I'm going to get to that. Let's see. Next up, we had Rich Swann versus Brian Kendrick versus TJ Perkins. And this was probably not the match, but what happened after the match was probably the most newsworthy thing that happened all night. So first off, they brought in Austin Aries to do commentary. They said, Byron, go take a break. And Austin Aries, he's great. But there's a line that people aren't, I guess, mentioning. He said, Rich Swann's a good champion. Rich Swann can hold that title until I feel like I'm ready to come take it. So did Austin Aries tell us that once he's cleared from his eye injury, he's coming to the main roster, to the Cruiserweight division, and wants the Cruiserweight title. Like, nobody's talking about this. But I feel like he gave that subtle hint that when he's clear in, I want to say January, he should be clear. He's coming. He's going to be in the Cruiserweight division. Anyways, the first half of this match was a Cruiserweight match. They were flipping and diving and running and being quick. And then it died. The crowd was not into it at the second half because they were doing a big man match. They were doing mat wrestling and submissions. And then at one point, I think TJ Perkins had the knee bar in on Swan, I think it was. And he went and grabbed the ropes, and right before he was going to grab the ropes, damn Corey Graves says it's a triple threat. There's no disqualification, no rope break. And then what happens? The ref calls a damn rope break. Like, oy vey. Anyways. So there was, like I said, no heat for this match. Swan super kicked Kendrick out of the ring and then used a super kick on Perkins, pinned him, end of the match. And here's where it gets newsworthy. So Swan's got the title. He's in the ring. He's about to celebrate. And then Neville's music hits. Neville then comes out. He's clapping. And Swan's happy. Swan's like, oh, cool. A guy that I can have a good match with. And Neville comes down to the ring, looks at Swan, and then just punches him right in the face. Like, just nails him. Perkins then comes in and tries to make the save. Nope. Neville takes him out too. Spills to the outside. He grabs Rich Swann. He threw Rich Swann into the barricade. Swann, I guess, was supposed to flip and hit back first, but he flipped late and he actually hit the top of his head and then flipped and landed on the floor head first. It looked a little bad. Anyways, then Neville went over, grabbed TJ Perkins, drug him over to the other side of the ring and threw him in the barricade. So we got a heel Neville, and after this, the crowd started chanting, "Thank you, Neville." Now, I don't know why he didn't do anything with Kendrick. Maybe it just Kendrick was already laid out somewhere else, so they said don't worry about it, but I liked it. Neville is now going to be this killer, I guess you can say, in the Cruiserweight division. And it's good that he's finally getting used here. He wasn't doing anything on Monday Night Raw. And now, putting him in the Cruiserweight division, not only will he be on Raw and 205 Live, but I think he's going to be the next number one contender. Probably, I think he should be the one to take that title from Rich Swann. Do it at the Royal Rumble. Have a good high-flying match, because we know Neville can. So, see what you guys are saying in the chat here. Neville's new entrance and attire. Neville needs a new entrance and attire. I think he does need a new entrance. The whole superhero thing with the cape and the smoke might not work for a heel, so I agree. Attire, I don't think he needs to change his attire. So, let's see what else you're saying. I think the Cruiserweight kind of burns out Raw. Sarah Small says Cruiserweights need to be on SmackDown. Now, I would agree, but at the same time, I understand why they're on Raw, because Raw's got more time. So, Daniel Keem says, we got a Brock Lesnar that's apparently a Cruiserweight. Christian Barron says, hi, hey, what's going on? Alright, so next we had the 30-minute Ironman match. Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, Women's Championship. So they worked a pretty good match, in my opinion. Like I said earlier, there were some flaws and some hiccups, but it didn't really overshadow the match. I'll say that. Let's see. First 10 minutes, there was nothing really big happened. No, it was still tied third of the way into the match. And then it slowly started to get going, but the crowd, they knew. You know, in a long match like this, when you know the match is going 30 minutes for sure, that nothing until the last 5 minutes matters. So the crowd really wasn't into this match till the end. But let's see. Charlotte got the first fall at 19 minutes and 14 seconds. She hit a natural selection to Sasha Banks off the top rope. Or was it the middle rope? I think it was the middle rope. Either way, it doesn't matter. She had a natural selection onto Sasha, got the pin. Banks then won the second fall with what was supposed to be, I think it was a La Magistral Cradle or something similar to that, but it was kind of messed up. But that was at 21:36. Banks then won the third fall at 23:55 with the Banks statement after a missed moonsault by Charlotte. Charlotte was like a baby face trying to tie this up. And in that sense, from a psychology standpoint, the last few minutes of the match was really booked backwards, in my opinion. I think if they were going to do, because what happened was Sasha was in the figure 8, and she would not tap, she would not tap, she would not tap, and then at 2 seconds left, she tapped. And you hear the crowd go, oh, like, you're the champ, you want to keep your title. 2 more seconds, and you would have kept your title, but anyways, if it was the other way around, though, and Charlotte was the one that was up, and Sasha needed to tie it up, and Charlotte tapped with 2 seconds to go, that's fine, it was the heel. The babyface saved herself. No, the babyface was made to look weak. We then go into overtime. And right before overtime starts, Charlotte just starts working that leg. Working that leg. You know she's going to put her in the figure 8. And then there was a spot where, I guess, Sasha was going for the bank statement. She hit the backstabber, and it looked like they knocked heads. Like, the back of Charlotte's head hit the front of Sasha's face, and Sasha busted her nose. I don't know if she just busted it up or if it's a broken nose. I haven't heard anything on that. But she was bleeding pretty bad. Anyways, it ended up Sasha taps to the figure 8. And Charlotte's your new 4-time women's champion. And they asked her on Raw Talk afterwards. They're like, what do you think your dad thought of this? What do you think with your dad, being in Sasha's corner or whatever at, what was it, Raw and Charlotte? Not really in her corner, but on her side and celebrating with her. And Charlotte goes, I hope my dad sat at home and watched this match and saw that I'm better than him and that I'm going to be a 16-time champion faster than he was. So, Danielle Keem, she's a 3-time, no, she's a 4-time champ, Dan. She won it, let's see, it won the original Divas Championship. Then she lost it to Sasha, got it back, lost it to Sasha, got it back, lost it to Sasha, got it back tonight. She's a 4-time champion. But James Lopez says the whole rivalry is to expose Sasha's weaknesses. I guess you can say that. She tapped with 1 second on the clock. It was completely stupid. Yes, it was. Very, very, very much so dumb. But then we had the main event. It was Kevin Owens with his Universal title on the line against Roman Reigns, the United States champion. And I just want to say one thing. Why put the United States championship on Roman Reigns if you're going to have him challenge for the championship and not do anything with the United States championship? Like, who's going to beat Roman for that title? Braun Strowman? Because think about it. If you want Roman Reigns to be the contender for the championship, because it's going to go, based off that finish we had tonight, it's going to go far. It's going to go more. But if you want Roman to be, quote unquote, a challenger for the Universal title, he can't lose the United States title unless he gets screwed out of it. So say he's facing someone like a Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens can come down, screw him, and that's how he loses the title. But I feel like before he wins the title, he needs to lose the U.S. title. That's just my opinion. I know they want to do a whole double champ thing with him, and they think it'll look cool on Roman Reigns to have 2 titles, cooler than Seth Rollins, but I don't know. Christian Barron says that thumbnail 10 out of 10. Thank you. I try to do things my own way. I don't want to be like these other people that just go on WWE.com and take their graphics. No, screw that. I got 10 years graphic design experience. I put it to use here, and I make my stuff look as original as I can. How about I say that? Because, I got to stand out. And I can't stand out just using the same stuff WWE already uses. Anyways, back to the match. Thank you for that compliment, Christian. So we had a pretty long match here. They announced, let's see, we're going to go back to my notes. What did I just do? Sorry about that, guys. Give me 1 second. Okay. So the match starts out, and there was a lot of back and forth stuff early on in the match. Where am I at? Where am I at? Dang, my notes are all kind of jumbled up right now. Alright, it was back and forth action inside. Owens then locks in his patented side headlock. Reigns powers out with a slam and goes for the cover, but only gets a 1 count. Action spills back outside the ring to the announce table, and Reigns looks like he's going to want to put Kevin Owens through the announce table. He starts pulling everything off, wipes it up, and Reigns then no-sells a stomp to his fingers by Kevin Owens. Reigns wipes the corners, but recovers with a rebound clothesline. Get back in the ring, and another side headlock. Reigns then uses a neck breaker to get out of it. Owens locks it in again, though. Gets the chin lock over while talking trash. Reigns gets out and dodges a running senton while catching his breath. He was sitting there, essentially. Kevin Owens had him in the side headlock for a while, and then finally he went up to the top rope. He went for, I guess, a swanton or something onto Roman Reigns and missed it. Roman then went for the pin, and then afterwards Roman sat there for like 45 seconds trying to breathe, like he had the wind knocked out of him or something. But it makes sense. He was trying to sell that chin lock, as far as, like, Owens had that chin lock in so deep that he couldn't breathe for most of that. But they then both get to their feet and they start trading blows and clotheslines. Roman digs into the reversals with several forearms in the corner. Owens with a forearm of his own, as they've been booked very evenly. I felt like, this was a lot of even back and forth. Owens would go on a little tear and get the advantage. Then Roman would go on a little tear and get the advantage. And then Owens, and then Roman. It was very WWE-esque back and forth action. We then had one spot where it looked like Roman was going to do some big move on Owens, but Owens reversed it into a German suplex. I think he got out of a Samoan drop. That's what it was. He got out of a Samoan drop. He then went for a cannonball, but got stopped by a kick, and then Roman hit that Samoan drop. A little later in the match, Owens mocks Reigns' little howl and delivered a cannonball finally, but Reigns no-sells it and meets Owens with a Superman punch. As soon as Owens turns around, Reigns sets Owens up on the top rope, and they sit up there for a while. I'm like, okay, is somebody gonna hit a suplex here? They were up there for 2 minutes almost. It felt. I don't think it was really 2 minutes, but they were up there for so long. Jesus freaking Christ! Finally, Owens did some. It's the suplex movie does a lot. It's like a package suplex Falcon Arrow type thing. But wait. Michael Cole then makes a note that, it's been a very evenly contested match. I don't know why Michael Cole needed to say that, but, he wanted to make it known that both men were getting offense. I don't know. Anyways, I don't even know why I put that in my notes. Owens then puts Reigns on the announce table on the outside after he super kicked him. He hit a frog splash from the barricade to the table. Table doesn't break. So it's probably a thing of Owens goes, "Hey, you want to try it again?" Reigns says, "Sure, why not?" Do it again. Boom. Table breaks. Great. Owens then gets in the ring, tells the referee start counting. Counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Says 8. Roman starts to move. Says 9. Roman starts to move a little faster. And literally, as the ref's hands is like 3/4 of the way up to say 10, Roman's in. This match continues. Owens hits him with another frog splash. Well, let me reiterate that. So Roman slides in, rolls onto his back, boom, frog splash, but he kicks out of 2. Owens then goes for a pop-up powerbomb, but it is blocked. Reigns then lifts Owens up and hits a sit-out powerbomb of his own. Both men go down. Reigns is up first. A spear gets blocked with a knee. Then Owens finally hits that pop-up powerbomb, goes for the cover, but Roman gets to the bottom rope. Can't end the match yet. Anyways, Owens grabs the title. Like, Owens starts going crazy. He's got this look on his face like, you know what? Screw this. If this guy don't want to go down, I'll just do what I got to do to keep my title. So he's got the title. He gets in the ring and the ref's telling him, Kevin, you can't do this. Kevin, don't do this. What are you doing? What are you doing? And Jericho comes down. So Roman's laid out in the ring. And Owens is backed into the corner with the championship still in his hand. Jericho runs in. He looks at Roman Reigns laying there. He looks at Kevin Owens. He looks back at Roman Reigns, and Owens starts to get to his feet. He stands up. He starts moving a little more like, all right, what's going on? But Owens is, you see that look in his face like, what is Chris going to do? What's going on here? And then Chris Jericho hits a code breaker on Kevin Owens. So we're just like, uh-oh, it's all over. Best friends, no more. They then announce Kevin Owens is victorious because Roman Reigns was disqualified. Yes, Roman Reigns was disqualified because Owens was attacked by outside interference. And then what does Jericho do? He literally takes the championship. And we think, okay, Jericho's going to hold it up and be like, I want the next title shot or something like that. No, he looks at the title and just hands it to Kevin Owens. So it's like, oh, snap. They're best buddies still. At least for the time being. And you keeping Chris Jericho and Kevin Owens together is great. Because Jericho and Owens together is like peanut butter and jelly, in my opinion. So the two start to try to get out of there before Roman Reigns can get up. They're like, oh crap, we just screwed Roman. We need to leave. And out comes Seth Rollins. So Rollins' music hits. Reigns gets up. And Owens gets hit with a spear, and Jericho tries to run off. Rollins and Reigns then grab him. They clear off the other announce table at ringside, and they shield powerbomb him through the table. As that's going on, Owens is trying to run away, but Rollins and Reigns catch him on the ramp, so they're fighting at the top of the ramp, and they clear off the normal announce table up there. They then set him up for a shield powerbomb. Boom! Send him through the table. Both Jericho and Owens went through tables after this match. But what does that really mean? Like, okay, Seth Rollins beat Chris Jericho. Roman Reigns beat Kevin Owens. There was outside interference in both matches, distractions and DQs, and nothing was really resolved, or we don't know what the direction's going to be. Because you have like 2 tag teams here now, essentially, that I don't know. Is Jericho going to finally get the U.S. title? Like, Jericho's leaving soon. We don't know when, because he was supposed to leave like 3 months ago. But let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Let's see. Sami Zayn should go to SmackDown for nobody because SmackDown, then he doesn't lose anyone huge. Okay. I don't know what that means. Christian Hernandez says the finish of this match needs to lead to a KO versus Chris Jericho match. Chris Jericho didn't need to use the code breaker for a DQ. Well, the whole reasoning on putting them together was to build to a split and a match. Like I said, the whole thing was they wanted these two to have a match, but they wanted build, and they knew that these two could do something great together, and they did, and they have, and they're going to continue to as long as they can. And then eventually they're going to have a match, probably with the title on the line, with Kevin Owens most likely coming out the victor. But let's see. Daniel Keem says, what I want to know is where was Triple H to protect his champion? Yeah, he hasn't been here at all to protect his champion, but hey. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Let's see. James Lopez says Fatal 4-Way at Mania between these guys for the title. I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, it could, but at Mania we're supposed to get Rollins and Triple H if nothing changes. What's going on, Sam the Man TV? All right. Now, I said I was going to talk about Sasha and Charlotte and them going forward. I didn't talk about it when I recapped the match, but let's talk about it now. The plan for Charlotte is that she's the champ, and she's going to now go into a program with Bayley. Okay, we knew that. Now, with Sasha Banks, a lot of people expect her to do something with Nia Jax. But I was told this weekend. Yeah, I'm going to say it anyways. I don't know if I'm supposed to, but I'm going to say it anyways. That she could be going into a feud starting tomorrow with Emelina. So Emelina is going to work with Sasha, try to get her hype up there. And I think those two can have some good matches together. I really, really, really do. So, Daniel Keem says he meant, why wasn't Triple H there tonight? I don't know. All I know is Triple H is probably, from what I'm being told, not coming back to TV till January. I mean, he could show up tomorrow, but there's no reason. Alright. So, let's see. You guys got any questions for me? Anything that you've been hearing or want to know, want to get some clarity on? Seth out of nowhere after 3 months started up the Triple H feud. Yeah, it was very random that he now. Like, he didn't even really do anything the week after. He might have, I think he said something like the week after. Oh, Triple H, why'd you do that? But nothing came of it. Christian Hernandez, you said, is that Neville should get a new entrance. I expect that at Raw. If they did it today, the surprise would have been ruined. Exactly. Daniel Keem says, who is Emelina? Emma. She was in NXT, then she came to the main roster with the whole bubbles and the weird dance, and they sent her back to NXT, and she revitalized herself, reinvented herself. She came to the main roster and then got hurt. She actually had back surgery. She's been cleared to go for about 2 months, 3 months now, and they're bringing her back as they're calling her Emelina. But anyways, I think if they don't mess her up, like, from everything they've shown in these vignettes, they're just making her like this model type. So I hope she's not a quote unquote diva, a WWE diva. She's a woman superstar, because that's what she is. She's great. If you let Emma just go out there and do what she can do well, she can be right up there with Charlotte. Daniel Keane, what do you expect to come from Raw tomorrow? Excuse me, hold on. I thought I had to burp. Okay. So tomorrow night's Raw. There could be a rematch. From what I'm hearing, there could be a rematch between the New Day and Cesaro and Sheamus. It's not confirmed, but there's a good possibility. I also think we're going to get more, unfortunately, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Jericho, Seth Rollins. Let's see. What else could happen tomorrow night on Raw? Of course, stuff with Neville. Because if they just kill that off and don't even mention it tomorrow, it's going to be horrible. And of course, we're probably going to get something along the lines of starting up the Charlotte Bayley feud. Emelina's supposed to be back tomorrow. James Lopez says Emelina going to be heel. Kind of sounds like a face. I think she's going to be heel. She was heel when she came back to the main roster. She's been working house shows with Dana Brooke. So I think she's going to be heel. Sasha Banks here asks, when Tamina Snuka coming back? She's back on the road now. It's just a matter of when are they actually going to use her? We don't know. Kevin Belgrave says, is there going to be a Diva search? They actually had it penciled in for 2016 to be on the WWE Network, but it never happened. Nothing ever came of it. Like, they were advertising it and they were plugging it like to all hell, and nothing happened with it. Daniel Keem says that doesn't make too much sense since New Day tried to cheat. What doesn't make too much sense? Them getting a rematch? Or Sasha Banks, Big Cass versus Rusev rematch? Yes, there is going to be a Big Cass versus Rusev rematch on Raw for sure. Oh yeah, there'll probably be some sort of a Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Owens Jericho tag match, something along those lines. But I mean, that'd be too predictable. Wait, Raw's always predictable, so yeah. Do you have any news on the surprise entrance in the Royal Rumble? I haven't really heard anything about the Royal Rumble. They've Nothing's really coming up as far as who can be a surprise. I know Shelton Benjamin could be cleared in time, and if he's signed, he could be in the Royal Rumble as a surprise. But other than Shelton, no, I haven't heard anything. Sam the Man TV says, I was shocked when Neville turned heel on Rich Swann. We all were shocked. Demon Desmond Hicks, should Sasha go to SmackDown Live? No. Sasha's fine on Raw. And why would she go to SmackDown Live? Like, they're not doing trades. They're not doing, you know. Sasha Banks, I want to see Tamina Snuka versus Nia Jax. I've been saying this for a little bit now. I feel like Tamina can be somebody that can help Nia get better. You have them work week and week and week on house shows. And Tamina being, I guess, a quote unquote bigger girl as well can really help Nia grow. And it's what they were trying to do on this last set of house shows with Big Show and Braun Strowman. They were trying to get Big Show to help Strowman learn more, and we saw Strowman. He looked a little better tonight. But Patrick Butler setting up for Charlotte, Sasha, and Bayley triple threat at Mania. I don't think they're going to do that because last year's match was a triple threat. So why do a women's title match triple threat 2 years in a row? I feel like you go in, you have a one-on-one match, Charlotte and Bayley, and then you give Bayley the title at Mania. Daniel Keem says Brock and Goldberg all that's confirmed at Mania or that Rumble, correct. But starting tomorrow, we're on that road to WrestleMania. We're gonna know a lot more on who's gonna be in the Rumble. Like probably gonna Seth Rollins will probably be in the Rumble. We'll probably get Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns rematch at the Royal Rumble. Jericho, if he's still around, might be in the Rumble, but we'll see. We'll see exactly what happens. Killa Nick, when Jeff Hardy's contract is up with TNA, then he's coming back to WWE. As of right now, the Hardys, either Hardy, will not be back in WWE till at least after WrestleMania if they want to come back. As of right now, WrestleMania weekend, there is an ROH show taking place in Lakeland, Florida, and the big match on that show will be the Young Bucks taking on the Broken Hardys. Daniel Keem says there's rumors of a double Hardy Boys return. Like I said, not anytime soon. Not for at least 5 months. Yeah, Matt Hardy's gone on record saying that he's been contacted to come back to the WWE. How true is that? I don't know. It's broken Matt Hardy. Do they want him back? Probably. Would they use him correctly? Probably not. But like I said, they've signed with ROH to do a match in WrestleMania weekend with the Young Bucks. So unless they break that agreement, I don't know if they signed a contract or if it's just a verbal agreement or what, but they're doing the match WrestleMania weekend, Lakeland, Florida, on a non-televised event, which is the dumbest thing they can do. But hey, what are we gonna do? It's what they planned. They needed a big match for that show for WrestleMania weekend because they always do a match or a show WrestleMania weekend, a house show. So, but all right. If you guys see if you guys got any more questions here. Who? Dan Kim says, "Well, they just got rid of Lita. They got rid of Lita and Jerry Lawler." Now I don't know what the whole thing with Lita is. She did tell Jim Ross that she's just gone from the company, but Lawler did go on record saying that he was contacted and said, "Hey, we're cutting costs. We're not doing the pre-show anymore, so your position there is no longer needed." He said that he did get a phone call from Vince McMahon specifically, and Vince told him, "Hey, you're still under contract with us. In January, we want you to sign a Legends deal, and then you'll probably still go and host the Hall of Fame and stuff like that." So Vince told Jerry he's still going to be used very, very infrequently, but that he still will be used. So let's see. Sasha Banks, ODB is back in TNA. I want to say that was a one-time thing only. I don't think she's back permanently in TNA, unfortunately. So let's see. Let's see. Yeah, Finn is gonna win, I believe. Where you guys at? Where you guys at? Back to the Triple H gets screwed in the Rumble match by Rollins. I don't think Triple H is gonna be in the Royal Rumble match. Why would Triple H be in the Royal Rumble match? I know there was a video posted after or during Roadblock. It was Rollins called out Triple H yet again, saying that he stole the Universal title from him. So I don't know what's going to come of this Triple H Seth Rollins thing as of right now. So we're going to have to just really wait and see on that one. But Daniel Keem says Lita got fired outright. I guess. I mean, her position was dropped. They were looking to phase her out anyways. That's why she got put on the pre-shows. So K. Jardine says, off topic, do you think Lesnar should have gotten a longer suspension from the UFC? No. I think it was about right what he got. If you look at what John Jones got as well, it's about right. Crayman says, I don't know if anyone remembers, but does anyone know where JR is? Jim Ross. Jim Ross is working for Access TV. He does English commentary for New Japan shows on Access TV. And this weekend, I think it was last night, there was a boxing show on CBS where he was actually doing the commentary. There is a new promotion trying to get started in the UK called World of Sport. They filmed a one-off episode. Jim Ross did the announcing for that show. That show will air in the UK on New Year's Eve, and if the show's ratings do well, then they will get picked up for a season. It's called World of Sport. And I don't know if Jim Ross is going to go on and be the full-time announcer for that show or if it was just the one-time thing. But like I said, as of right now, he's got his podcast. He's got his blog. He's doing the New Japan stuff for Access TV. He's doing boxing commentary for CBS. He's got a lot of... And he's got his one-man show as well. So he's got a lot of projects going around. He's just no longer with WWE. James Opus says, can you set up feud with Rollins and Rumble? You mean the Triple H feud? I don't think Triple H is going to be in the Royal Rumble. I mean, what you can maybe have Triple H screw him out of the Rumble, but what would that even accomplish? Like, what would be the reasoning? J Flight says, "Do you think Triple H should have came back tonight?" No, there was no reason for Triple H to come back tonight. If Triple H came back tonight, then Jericho wouldn't have been the one to help Kevin Owens, and then the whole beatdown after wouldn't have made sense or wouldn't have even happened. So Triple H coming back tonight, no. Kevin Belgrave says, "Is there going to be a return of Kelly Kelly?" No. She's stated multiple times she's done. Sasha Banks says, "When's the women's tournament starting?" I don't know when it's starting. There was plans, and the whole thinking of it was they were going to do it in either January or February. Now they have signed a lot of new women that they can use for this tournament, so that is one good sign. James Lopez says Lesnar probably won't leave WWE for a couple of years because UFC. Oh, he's just going to stick with WWE because he's making good money. You know, what people don't understand is he can't just go do UFC whenever he wants. He's under contract with the WWE, and if he wants to go work UFC, Vince has to approve it. Vince has to say, okay, we'll let you go do this one fight. And that's what happened this time because Vince let Brock do the fight. And in turn, the UFC promoted SummerSlam. That's really what happens. What happened. So it's not like Brock can say, oh, I'm going to go fight UFC, bye. No. He's got to get it approved by Vince before he can go and do anything like that. Crayman says, "Do you think Stone Cold will ever come back to wrestle?" Never. Stone Cold Steve Austin literally cannot get cleared to wrestle a match ever again. So, I mean, he hurt himself just doing that beatdown at WrestleMania this year. So he really can't do anything. Jay Flight says, "What do you think of Sasha losing again and going forward with the women's division?" I talked about this already. Sasha lost. Charlotte won. Charlotte's now going to feud with Bayley. Sasha is looking like she might feud with Emma. Sasha Banks here asked, "What Justin Gabriel? What? What Justin Gabriel YWD? Justin Gabriel, would you what? I don't. What are you trying to say, Sasha Banks? I don't understand that question. Let's see. What else are you guys asking? Did you watch the Mickey? Daniel Keem asked me, "Did I watch the Mickey Gall fight yesterday?" I did. I only caught that match and I caught that match, the Faber match, and the main event. But I did see the Mickey Gall match. She choked him out pretty easily, to be honest. Like they try to build Sage Northcutt up to be this big megastar, but he's not as good as they want him to be. Sasha Banks says, "Velvet Sky and Angelina Love to be in the women's tournament or no?" Angelina Love did go on Twitter and say, "Hey, I heard WWE's doing some sort of thing with the women." And then I guess it was her way of saying she'd be in it. I know there was interest for Velvet Sky back about 4 months ago, but I haven't heard anything since Bubba left, and Bubba is Velvet's real life boyfriend, so I don't know. I know there's something going on with the Dudleys in WWE where they might be coming back soon. I can't confirm anything on that, but Bubba did recently say, both Bubba and Devon, that the Dudley boys in the WWE are not done. Devon is a producer backstage now, so Devon's still there. Bubba could come back at any time, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens with that. But Velvet Sky and Angelina Love, on WWE's side, I haven't heard any interest. Jay Flight says, "When do you think Kevin Owens versus Jericho will happen, or if it ever will, with Jericho being on a monthly contract?" I feel like it should happen. Now, there's one of two things. Is Jericho going to stick around till Mania? If Jericho sticks around till Mania, then we do Kevin Owens versus Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. I would say do it at the Rumble, but we may be getting another Kevin Owens Roman Reigns at the Rumble. Daniel Keem says Sage Northcutt is good, but Mickey is next level. Even if Every still wants to put him down for the CM Punk thing, it's not even that he's on the next level. They're about even as far as fighters go. But Sage Northcutt he still has a lot of room to grow, in my opinion. Killa Nick says I think they retired. Are you talking about the Dudley Boys? They didn't retire because they actually still Bubba's still been working. I think he worked recent House of Hardcore show. Daniel Keem says CM Punk is getting another fight in the UFC. He's talking like he's going to, but we don't know anything on that. He said that he talked to Dana White and they're going to try and work things out, but Dana White's gone on record saying that pretty much he said, I don't want to say he should never fight. Like, this isn't word for word, but Dana White went on record saying, I don't want to say he should never fight again, but he should never fight in the UFC. So, I know Punk wants another UFC fight. He wants to fight in February. We're going to have to see exactly what really happens. Daniel Keem, to answer your question of coming back, he signed a 5-fight contract and he's got 4 left. CM Punk, I know with those kinds of contracts, here's how it works out. You got 5 fights. You can't go anywhere else until those 5 fights are fulfilled. Yet, they can cut you from their roster and say, you know what, we're not going to use you. We're not going to have you fight anymore for us. You're done. It's just like in WWE. You sign a 3-year deal. You can't go anywhere for 3 years, but they can cut you whenever they see fit. So, that's how that works. So, if Dana White and the UFC feel Punk's not up to their caliber, they could just say, you know what, you're done with us. We don't want you anymore. You're cut. They can cut him from the roster. That's pretty much how it's going to be. Yes, he's got 4 fights left, but it doesn't mean he's going to fight those 4 fights in the UFC. Jay Flight, you recently said that they wanted Nikki Bella to have SmackDown Women's title matches in mid-December. Do you think that's going to happen? No. They're actually very impressed with the stuff that Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss are doing. So they're going to let that program go for a little bit and see where that develops. And they're really impressed. Really, it's really all Alexa. Alexa has shined. And she's really done more than they expected from her. And she's really grown on them. So as of right now, they're going to keep the Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch stuff going for a little bit longer, and then we'll see what happens with this whole, I guess, triangle feud with Carmella and Nikki Bella and Natalya. But let's see. Daniel Keem says, I don't know Dana. I don't know, but Dana will not really him anymore since it's been so what? They haven't completely milked the CM Punk cash cow dry yet. This is the thing. We saw CM Punk in that first fight. He was god awful. Do you really think if they promote a CM Punk fight again, it's going to draw the way it did? I don't think anybody's going to even be remotely halfway interested as they were for that fight. So the CM Punk cash cow died at the Mickey Gall fight. So Killer Nick says, any news on AJ Styles and Taker, or Cena and Taker, or Cena and AJ? As of right now, they want to do AJ versus Taker at Royal Rumble. That's if The Undertaker can get cleared from his hip surgery he just had a couple months ago. And then possibly do the winner of that match against Cena at Mania. Cena is coming back in 2 weeks, well, a week and a half. So J Flight says, how do you think Sanity will be with Damo replacing Sawyer Fulton? I actually think Damo is better than Sawyer Fulton, so great fit. Even though Damo would probably fit in the Wyatt family too. He just fits in that kind of a group. So I think Damo's better. Sasha Banks, when the Usos return from injury, I think Jimmy is injured and there's no timetable for his return. Excuse me. Kevin Belgrave says, what are they doing with Naomi? No clue. She was supposed to get cleared and back on the road this week. She was only out for a couple weeks, but she's supposed to get cleared this week. Last week, actually. She was supposed to be cleared last week, but since she wasn't used, we don't know if she was actually cleared or not. Daniel Keem says, I agree until yesterday. Mickey Gall showed how good he is. Agree with what? The whole CM Punk cash cow? Yeah, Mickey Gall can be good, but that has nothing to do with CM Punk. Laser Aske says, what are your WrestleMania 33 match predictions? Well, we know we're probably going to get Triple H, Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns, probably in some sort of high-profile match. We're going to get John Cena challenging for the WWE Championship, whether that be against The Undertaker or AJ Styles, we don't know yet. I feel like there's a good chance we get Bayley versus Charlotte. And other than that, it all depends. Is Balor back in time, which he's supposed to be, but do they have enough time to build to a feud? The Intercontinental title probably once again be on the line in a 6-way ladder match. We're going to have another Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and I feel like Braun Strowman should win that. So, No Laura says Sasha Banks versus Nia Jax next, or Bayley versus Charlotte. Next for what? I don't know if you heard, I said it earlier, Sasha's actually looking like she's going to go into a feud with Emma, not Nia Jax. But I think that's going to do it for us here tonight, guys. We got some stories coming tomorrow. I know I got one about The Rock and his possible plans for WrestleMania 33. Any fallout we learned from Roadblock. We'll do a predictions and preview show for Raw. And any other news that comes out throughout the next 24 hours, we'll bring it to you right here on the YouTube channel, right here on our Twitter, on our Instagram, on our Facebook. So just keep in touch. Keep those notifications on. And it's going to do it. Thank you guys for joining us here in the live chat live stream. I appreciate it every single time. And we'll be live again after the Royal Rumble. Thanks, guys. See you next time.